like walking around with, like, I love this woman and I want peace in this relationship.
Right.
But I'm to the point where I'm walking around flipping two birds.
The screen fades in on a desolate desert landscape, motionless and heavy with foreboding. A voice whispers softly, near tearfully. For years, they said the Brown family could weather any storm. But this doesn't feel right. Season 20 isn't simply another installment in the sister wives saga, it's the affirmation of a schism that no one wanted to believe was true. Cameras roll, the house is chilly, and each look tells a tale unsaid. The air between them has changed, and for the first time, even the crew is uncertain where to aim their cameras. Christine is absent from daily chaos, her giggles nowhere to be heard, her presence substituted with an unsaid void. Janelle sits by herself at the kitchen table, navigating bills, grumbling under her breath about fairness. Robyn, who was once the serene centerpiece, now glances over her shoulder every couple of minutes, eyes frantically darting. The silence at Cody's residence isn't soothing, it's oppressive. The veneer of togetherness has finally broken. And when TLC revealed that Season 20 would take a deeper dive into what they referred to as the family division, the fans knew the gloves were finally off. The show begins with a confession cam, Cody looking directly into the camera, eyes worn out, voice biting. "Everybody blames me," he says, shaking his head. But they don't know what's really happening behind those smiles. He pauses, allowing the tension to hang. Now this isn't about love, it's survival. The cutaway features black and white footage of better times, Christine laughing with the children, Mary making cookies, Janelle assisting with homework, Robyn smiling with Cody on the porch. Then the screen glitches to reality. The same porch, but void of anyone. The same laughter, but extinct. The cut makes it apparent, whatever connection was, it's shattered irreparably. Christine's name echoes repeatedly like a specter in the room. She is physically gone. But emotionally she remains the center to which everything revolves. Janelle reveals in her interview, "Christine was courageous enough to do what I wasn't able to." Her voice cracks a little. She escaped before the rage took hold. One can discern the remorse behind her tranquil words. Robyn, on the other hand, claims she's the glue keeping the family together. "I've done all that I can to keep us together," she says, tightly grasping her hands, glassy eyes. But they don't want to see the effort. They just want to place blame. The tension worsens as Cody's voice takes on a sharper edge. He talks of betrayal, of loyalty in the family, of how Christine poisoned the others with her independence. But fans notice something else, fear. The authoritative patriarch once in charge of 4 wives, now a man desperate to reauthor his own narrative. And off camera, the editors are clearly doing their job. Each shot lingers just long enough to reveal the fissures in his armor. A dinner scene ensues, Robyn, Janelle, and Cody at the table together but not really communicating. Forks clang, no one eats. Robyn attempts to shatter the silence, but Janelle gazes up and pronounces flatly, "You can't fix what's already broken." The room becomes ice. It's not yelling, it's not earnest music, it's worse. It's the cold understanding that things will never be the same again. Fans at home swarm social media. Is this the end of the Browns? Why does it feel like they're acting for the camera now? This isn't just a show anymore, this is a public unraveling. As the episode continues, flashbacks are paired with confessionals, revealing how the seeds of this division were planted years ago. Every choice, every conversation, every "we'll talk about it later" moment now returns to haunt them. What started as a family built on faith and unity has turned into a battle of pride, pain, and perspective. Cody maintains the others are revising history. The wives maintain he's revising loyalty. And all the while, TLC hints at the future, the division. The truth, the end of everything you thought you knew. The camera glides slowly over the deserted driveway, where 4 vehicles once represented togetherness. Now they're down to 2. Cody's truck and Robyn's SUV. The rest, vanished, just as the love that once resided here. The narrator's tone is low, measured. They called it a family built on faith, but what happens when faith runs out? In the house, Robyn is alone in her confessional, her eyeliner smeared from tears she doesn't want to acknowledge are genuine. I tried, she says softly. I begged them to remain. I informed Cody we could make it work if we simply held on. She shakes and looks down. But perhaps it was never about holding on. Perhaps it was about letting go. At the same time, a simultaneous scene has Janelle packing boxes. She quietly folds towels, the camera holding on her hands, her rings, the small reminders of the life she constructed and is now forced to leave. Her voice breaks the silence. You reach a point where peace is worth more than pretending. The words hang in the air. Fans on social media replay this moment over and over. Was this goodbye? Did TLC just film Janelle's final scene with Cody? In the following confessional, Cody is clearly upset. They've made me the bad guy, he tells us, leaning forward, voice increasing. They forget all I gave up. All I created. He slaps his hands together. It's not hard to leave when you don't love the family unit. But I do. The producers then cut to a montage of his most tears-filled moments, his wedding vows, his laughter, the birth of his children, spliced with his recent tantrums. The story illustrates itself, a man hanging on to control as his family glides into independence. Robyn's tears, once a moment of sympathy, now elicit argument. Some fans believe it's sincerity. Others accuse it of manipulation. She's crying because she's losing control, one fan tweets. Not because she's upset. Because she's finally understanding what it's like to be outside. The next segment is a quick clip shot from her new address, a peaceful setting behind her. Her voice is level but assertive. I hope they get peace, she says. But peace doesn't come from control. It comes from freedom. That contrast between her equanimity and Cody's anarchy is cinematic gold. TLC is aware of that. They milk the contrast, cutting from Christine's soft laughter to Cody storming around his living room. She thinks she's happier without me, he growls. Let's see how long that lasts. The suspense reaches its peak when Janelle consents to sit down with Cody one final time, a filmed meeting at a public location. Cameras record her sitting quietly, drinking coffee, staring out the window. Cody walks in late, defensive already. So, what, we're just done, he asks. Janelle doesn't look up right away. We've been done for a long time, she replies. You just didn't notice. There's no music, no over-editing. Just silence. It's raw, almost too real. Cody's face tightens. You're throwing everything away because Christine left. You're letting her poison you. Janelle smiles faintly. No, Cody. Christine demonstrated to me what it means to cease living small. The editors cut to Cody's confession. His jaw is tight, his voice staccato. They think they're empowered, he growls. But all I see are broken promises. The show cuts to background chatter, the producers interrupting Cody to clarify, his anger bubbling over. You guys are spinning this, he snaps. You want your narrative. A voice off camera calmly replies, we're just documenting what's happening, Cody. He glares at the lens. No, you're creating it. Viewers erupt online, he's unraveling. Cody versus TLC, who's really in control? This is getting darker than anyone expected. As night falls, the camera shows Robyn on the porch, wrapped in a blanket. She gazes into the distance, whispering. Not because she's upset. Because she's finally understanding what it's like to be outside. The next segment is a quick clip shot from her new address, a peaceful setting behind her. Her voice is level but assertive. I hope they get peace, she says. But peace doesn't come from control. It comes from freedom. That contrast between her equanimity and Cody's anarchy is cinematic gold. TLC is aware of that. They milk the contrast, cutting from Christine's soft laughter to Cody storming around his living room. She thinks she's happier without me, he growls. Let's see how long that lasts. The suspense reaches its peak when Janelle consents to sit down with Cody one final time, a filmed meeting at a public location. Cameras record her sitting quietly, drinking coffee, staring out the window. Cody walks in late, defensive already. So, what, we're just done, he asks. Janelle doesn't look up right away. We've been done for a long time, she replies. You just didn't notice. There's no music, no over-editing. Just silence. It's raw, almost too real. Cody's face tightens. You're throwing everything away because Christine left. You're letting her poison you. Janelle smiles faintly. No, Cody. Christine demonstrated to me what it means to cease living small. The editors cut to Cody's confession. His jaw is tight, his voice staccato. They think they're empowered, he growls. But all I see are broken promises. The show cuts to background chatter, the producers interrupting Cody to clarify, his anger bubbling over. You guys are spinning this, he snaps. You want your narrative. A voice off camera calmly replies, we're just documenting what's happening, Cody. He glares at the lens. No, you're creating it. Viewers erupt online, he's unraveling. Cody versus TLC, who's really in control? This is getting darker than anyone expected. As night falls, the camera shows Robyn on the porch, wrapped in a blanket. She gazes into the distance, whispering. She's the lone one who remained true. His voice trembles a bit. The rest quit. They resigned when things got difficult. Robyn's the only one still working to clean up the mess. But fans spot the fissures. On social media, they analyze each micro-expression, each quiver in his voice. One of the tweets states, if loyalty resembles silence as your family falls apart, perhaps it's not loyalty, it's survival. In Christine's house, light streams in through her window. She's baking cookies with her daughter, laughter in the kitchen. The tone changes for the narrator, softer, contemplative. As the old family disintegrates, Christine is constructing a new piece. She smiles into the camera, smile thin but knowing. I don't have to prove anything any longer, she says. When you've been blamed for everything long enough, you realize you don't have to defend yourself to people who never listened. Back to Mary, her scene shot in the tiny Airbnb she now operates. She's cleaning a countertop, the din of a storm distant outside. It's ironic, she whispers, that they labeled me cold, aloof, when all I ever sought was some space where I wasn't invisible. She pauses, her eyes brimming with tears. Now I have one. The camera pans out, Mary alone in the deserted inn, thunder growling in the distance. The editors don't introduce music. The silence is louder. Then comes the confrontation scene, the one everyone's been anticipating. A roundtable session, arranged by TLC. Cody, Robyn, Janelle, and even Mary, all sitting in a stiff circle. The atmosphere is charged. Cody begins first. We can't proceed until everyone's being honest, he announces, voice stiff. There has been too much gossiping. Too much disrespect. Janelle crosses her arms. Honest? You want honesty? Let's begin with the accounts. The Coyote Pass sales money, the loans, the property taxes, who's paying them, Cody? He blinks, surprised. We all agreed, no, Janelle interrupts him. You and Robyn agreed. The rest of us were never in those meetings. Robyn's hand shakes. That's not fair, fair? Janelle spits. You have the only house that's paid off. You and Cody are sitting on the assets while the rest of us are getting flamed for walking away. The atmosphere erupts. Cody shoots forward, his eyes flashing. I built this family. I should be able to live comfortably after all I've sacrificed. There is silence. Then Mary's voice, calm but surgical. You did not build a family, Cody. You built a hierarchy. And now you're angry that the people at the bottom stopped worshipping you. For a moment, nobody speaks. Even Robyn looks down. The camera lingers on her face, the flicker of guilt impossible to hide. And then, as if on cue, she speaks softly, "I never wanted this." The narrator resurfaces, but sometimes, the things we never wanted, are the things we created. The episode gives way to flashbacks, the wedding days, the laughter, the road trips, the family picnics. Each scene dissolves into its present-day equivalent, empty chairs, silent phones, disappearing smiles. The music swells. The audience feels the weight, not of anger, but of loss. Online, it's chaos. Forums light up with speculation. Did Robyn just admit to financial control? Mary's line was the quote of the season. Cody's meltdown is Emmy-worthy. Even tabloids pick it up, Brown family implodes on camera. In the closing shot, a drone camera sweeps over Coyote Pass one last time. The voice of the narrator becomes a whisper. Once it was a dream. Undefined now, it's just dirt and echoes. And as the screen goes black, one final line in white appears, the family division continues. Fans sit in stunned silence, some cry, some rage, but all know, season 20 isn't just drama. Undefined, it's history being rewritten before their eyes. The door opens to Robyn sitting by herself on her porch, covered by a blanket as the camera pans in gradually. The wind blows through her hair, and finally, she appears exhausted, not physically, but spiritually. Her voice trembles as she states, "People think I got everything I wanted. But if they knew the cost." She does not finish. The music dissolves into the low hum of emotional background music. The tone of the narrator darkens, taking the audience with it into the emotional gravity. For years, Robyn was regarded as the favorite, the one who had everything. But through the gates of her ideal home, there was another story being written, a story of guilt, loneliness, and the unconscionable cost of loyalty. The shot cuts to Cody walking back and forth in his living room. His phone is ringing non-stop with alerts, articles, comments on the internet, fans analyzing every shot of their existence. He is demoralized. "I used to believe that the cameras were my friends," he says, "but now, they're witnesses." He stares directly at the producer off camera. "You know, I believed the world was interested in our love story. Turns out, they only wanted our fall." Christine is sitting on her back porch, tea in one hand, and there is laughter softly heard in the distance as her children play at her side. She is lighter now, her face radiating peace. The narrator enters gently, while some were losing themselves, others were finding freedom. Christine smiles softly into the camera. "It's strange," she says, "how peace feels like rebellion when you've lived in chaos for so long." Then comes the moment that breaks the fandom in half. The editors cut to a private clip, a leaked recording from production, captured when filming was supposed to be over. It's Robyn and Cody in their kitchen, arguing in low voices. Cody slams his hands on the counter. "You wanted this, Robyn. You wanted the family, the cameras, the money. Don't lie to me." Robyn's face contorts in shock. "I wanted a family, Cody. Not this freak show. Not to be blamed by millions of people for things I didn't even do." He spins away, grumbling, "You could have stopped it. You always could have stopped it." There is silence. The sound crackles slightly, the tension palpable. The narrator dips his voice, and for the first time, even Cody seemed uncertain of his own story. The scene cuts to Janelle sitting in her living room, viewing that leaked video. Her expression speaks volumes, disappointment, but not shock. "That's who he's become," she breathes. "A man who blames the fire but forgets who struck the match." The fans go wild. Twitter goes into meltdown mode with the hashtag #BrownFamilyBurnsDown. Reddit commentary picks apart each syllable. TikTok edits become viral, over dramatic music with subtitles such as "The End of the Era That No One Thought Was Coming." Next is a studio interview, a private sit-down with the producer, off-script. The host turns to Robyn and asks her, "Do you regret joining the family?" Robyn takes a shaky breath, her eyes brimming. Regret is a strong word. But I wish I knew what really lay ahead. I thought love would do it. I thought we could make it happen. The host prods softly. And now? A hesitation. Now I see, perhaps love can't repair what money and pride tore asunder. The narrator's tone falls lower, the words chosen. It was the apology fans had waited 10 years to hear, but one that arrived too late. The camera fades to Mary, standing at the edge of Coyote Pass, the wind blowing her hair back. She gazes out over the country that once represented something they all were. "We wanted to build here," she says softly. "We wanted to show something, to the world, perhaps to ourselves. But the land never was our own. It was part of an idea that passed away a long time ago." She walks away. The camera lingers for a moment, her silhouette against a blood-orange sunset. The narrator speaks softly, the family that one day hoped for forever, is now just starting to learn to say goodbye. Then the show becomes something else, sped-up montages of headlines, reaction footage, and fan commentary come in a hurricane of noise and sentiment. All platforms burn. Robyn breaks down on camera. Cody's meltdown goes viral. Christine's piece becomes power. One after another, the words rush across the screen until it all goes black, undefined, only the voice of the narrator. When love becomes legacy, and legacy becomes loss, what's left? A gentle piano key tickles. Then, a whisper, the truth. The episode ends suddenly, no credits, no outro, just silence. Fans sit stunned, breathless, scrolling through their screens trying to process what they just saw. Undefined. The forums buzz with one question: is this the end of the Sister Wives era, or just the calm before the next storm? Undefined. The action begins in hushed silence, only the gentle hum of a refrigerator, a click-clack wall clock, and Robyn sitting at her kitchen table looking at a folder of legal documents. Her eyes are red-rimmed. She's been crying. The camera slowly zooms in as she speaks, almost to herself. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. The narrator's voice falls to a low, intimate tone, as if confiding in the audience. For years, Robyn stood up for the dream, the man, the marriage, the family. But when reality finally knocked, it didn't knock with permission to enter. There's the sound of a creaking door in the distance. Cody walks in, nervously pacing. He refuses to glance at her. "The lawyers called," he grumbles. "They said the dispute over property isn't going to go away. Christine and Janelle are fighting back." Robyn's hands are shaking. "They have every right to. You excluded them from everything, Cody." His head jerks up. "I did what I needed to do to keep us safe." She gets up, voice breaking. "Keep us? Or keep yourself?" The air in the room is thick. The camera tilts ever so slightly, catching her face through a reflection in the window, symbolic, shattered. The narrator interjects. For the first time, Robyn wasn't the quiet enabler. She was the mirror, reflecting back all the things Cody didn't want to see. A flashback swirls in, a montage of previous seasons. Smiles. Laughter. Dinner with family. Children playing outside in the yard. Robyn's voice narrates softly over it, echoing from a past confessional. "I always thought love was the foundation. But sometimes, love isn't enough." The montage cuts to present day with a smash cut, Robyn alone in a courtroom, dressed in black, face blank. The gavel comes down. The narrator goes on. What began as a shared dream had become legal documents, charges, and silence. The Sister Wives family wasn't tested anymore, it was being unraveled. Meanwhile, Christine's phone glows. A message from Janelle. "Did you see what happened?" Christine exhales, pressing out, "I'm not surprised. This is what truth does, it burns." She lays the phone down, listening to her daughter's giggle in the other room. The narrator tones down his voice. While one household was crumbling under the burden of secrets, another was mending through honesty. Back to Cody, sitting in his truck now, by himself. His voice trembles in a self-shock confession. They tell you every man builds his kingdom. What they don't say is, one bad queen, and it all disappears. His face sets, a blend of remorse and obstinate pride. He looks at the camera. Maybe I wasn't supposed to have it all. The screen goes black. Then, Christine's voice intrudes, warm but authoritative. Sometimes losing everything isn't a curse. It's how you only then find peace. The narrator switches to their haunting tone again. For the fans that watched each and every season, every tear, every lie, the illusion is lost. The family that was once united in faith now stands divided in truth. Sometimes losing everything isn't a curse. It's how you only then find peace. The narrator switches to their haunting tone again. For the fans that watched each and every season, every tear, every lie, the illusion is lost. The family that was once united in faith now stands divided in truth. A gentle piano melody plays while flashbacks of the past glide by one last time. Robyn's wedding day, Cody's beaming smile, the children giggling, all ghosting like specters of what used to be then. The last shot, Robyn closing her front door, the sound of the lock clicking ringing out like a full stop. The last words of the narrator waft in on a whisper, and with that sound, the era ended. The screen remains black for a full 5 seconds before fading up to the words, Season 20. The truth was never optional. The rain began to fall, slow and steady, against the windows like a muted reminder that anything, however long it lasts, will eventually pass. Robyn was ensconced on the couch indoors, her face pale and far away, a cup of cold, untouched tea sitting beside her. The voice of the narrator had that somber gravitas fans knew, calm, measured, with meaning in each pause. Sometimes, he said, there are times when silence is louder than words. And in Robyn Brown's house, silence had finally won out. The laughter of children played back from another room, their giggles innocent and unsuspicious. Robyn fought tears back. They shouldn't have to witness this, she whispered. The camera rested on her face, guilt, fatigue, remorse, all blurring like smoke. Then there was the knock at the door. She stood rigid. The knock once more, this time firm. She stood there hesitating before opening it. Janelle stood on the porch, a manila envelope clutched in her hand. Neither of them said a word for a long second. The tone of the narrator became darker. It had been months since these two women had looked each other in the eye. Now, they were no longer co-wives. They were something far more complicated, witnesses to each other's pain. Janelle held out the envelope. Yours should be this, she whispered. It's from the attorneys. About the split. Robyn swallowed hard. Janelle, I never wanted it to go like this. Janelle shook her head. Didn't you? You had everything you desired, Robyn. The mansion house. Cody's attention. The money. The sympathy. But at a cost you never factored into the equation, our trust. Robyn's eyes dropped, watering. You think I schemed this? I believe, Janelle replied slowly, you forgot that love put this family together long before money did. She reached to leave, but Robyn caught her arm. I didn't intend to hurt anyone. Janelle hesitated, her voice shaking now. Then why does it seem like you did? The door closed softly behind her. The narrator returned inside, voice quiet but cutting as glass. For years, the family's bond was its greatest strength. But when truth entered the room, it revealed every hidden crack. And those cracks were growing wider by the day. Cut to Cody pacing outside in the rain, his phone in hand, calling Robyn again and again, but she wouldn't answer. She's done listening, the narrator said. Even the most devoted heart shatters when prodded beyond its limits. Robyn gazed at herself in the window, which was dark. Her voice was hardly audible. What did I do? The image reflected back at her, accusingly quiet. A montage: ancient family barbecues, children's birthdays, car trips, laughter on the screen, and then rapid cutaways to today: lawyers, papers, vacant chairs, doors shutting. The narrator went on, this wasn't another season. This was reckoning. The sister wives' dream wasn't coming to an end due to hate, it was coming to an end due to truth. Christine, meanwhile, stood in her new kitchen, smiling as she prepared dinner. Her daughter asked, "Mom, are you happy now?" Christine's eyes softened. "I'm peaceful." "That's better than happy." The narrator's tone lightened slightly, offering hope to the audience. Where one tale ceased, another commenced. Christine found tranquility amidst the devastation. Janelle discovered power in autonomy. But Robyn, she discovered quietude, where her voice once resided. The music grew, low, mournful piano playing off into muted strings. The camera cut back to Robyn's house, lights low, shadows somber. She reached for her phone, flipping through aged family photos, smiling faces, joyous moments captured in time. One tear dropped on the screen. Undefined, the voice whispered, and as the last pieces of this family disintegrated, fans couldn't help but wonder, was it ever whole? Undefined, the screen went black, and for a long time there was only the sound of rain. Undefined, then, Christine's voice, firm and unflinching, rang out over the black screen. The truth doesn't destroy families. Lies do. The last line from the narrator came immediately, wrapping the scene like a closing curtain, and that was the beginning of the end. The daylight crept gently over the still Flagstaff horizon, over rooftops that had once rung with laughter, plans, and shared dreams. Within Robyn's house, silence reigned, weighed down by all the things left unspoken. She walked alone, one camera following her through the vacant rooms, each room containing the shadow of what had been, a family that had fragmented irreparably. The narrator's tone was consistent yet despairing. "All stories have an end," he muttered softly, but the Brown story didn't have an end in anger. It had an end in realization. Robyn stood near the window of the living room, staring at the driveway where Cody's car would stay for hours. She inhaled deeply and whispered, "He's not coming back, is he?" Her voice broke halfway through, and the silence that followed said everything. Cut to Christine, laughing as she packed for a trip with her new fiancé. Her joy was radiant, genuine. "I never thought I'd get to feel this free," she said. "But sometimes you gotta lose everything to find peace." The voice of the narrator came on again, overlaying images of her smiling. For Christine, the end of one life became the start of another. For Janelle, freedom was no longer an idea, it was a choice. But for Robyn, truth had stripped away everything she built. Back in Robyn's kitchen, she opened a drawer filled with old letters and notes from the early years, handwritten promises, apologies, hopes. Her hands trembled as she picked one up. "We'll always be together," it read, signed in Cody's handwriting. Her eyes closed. "Always," she repeated, her tone empty, a word that no longer had meaning. The narrator continued, in season 20, the illusion shattered completely. The family who preached together had become a case study in what not to do, demonstrating that love without truth is a time bomb. The subsequent scene was calmer. Robyn sat outside on the porch, wrapped up in a blanket, observing the setting sun. Cody was seen in the distance walking steadily towards her. He came to a standstill a few feet away. "We tried our best," he said. Robyn did not look up. "Did we?" she replied. "Or did we pretend long enough to believe our own tale?" Cody didn't reply. The narrator's voice became lower, measured. It wasn't about money anymore. Not about houses, recognition, or being right. It was about truth, and what people do when they flee from it. The camera stayed on Robyn's face when she finally faced Cody. "You led me to think that last always equaled chosen. But it only equaled used." Cody stepped back, his face flashing with pain. "You think I didn't lose everything too," he spoke softly. Robyn's eyes brimmed with tears. "You didn't lose what you never really cherished." An extended silence ensued before the narrator came back, voice hardly above a whisper. Years of secrets, control, and unspoken anguish had created cracks that were too big to cover up. The Browns' dream that once unified them was now the same that destroyed them. Then, footage cut to each member of the family in their new beginning. Christine dancing with her fiancé in her backyard, sunlight filtering through the trees. Janelle on the porch with a coffee cup, serenity on her face. Cody standing by himself in a nearly vacant house, staring out a window. And Robyn, folding up a small box, putting into it a family photo with everyone smiling together, one of the few taken with all of them smiling. As she shut the lid, the narrator only said one last time, maybe this isn't a story of endings at all. Maybe it's a story of awakening, the moment when truth finally outshines illusion. The music rose, a combination of gentle piano and rich cello. Robyn moved out onto the porch, cradling the box in her arms. She stopped at the porch's edge, glancing back for a last time before heading across the yard towards her car. The sun fell below the horizon, sending long shadows stretching across the vacant yard. The screen went black. One final line came up on the screen, in white lettering, undefined. Some families break apart to find themselves again. The narrator's voice wrapped up the episode in the same eerie serenity it opened with, and that was the truth, the $12 million truth, that ended Robyn's illusion and changed everything.